And here we go on this Monday. It is June 27th, 2022, 6 p.m. straight up. You are in the midst of Real Talk Memphis, live and local. Very happy to have you with us. I am your humble host, Chip Washington. Happy to be here and happy if you are out there as well. Gang's all here, fired up and ready to go. We're going to have a good show for you tonight, and there's a lot to talk about. Believe me, last few days, few things have happened around here that have gotten quite a bit of attention, not only locally but nationally. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about how you can get this fine piece of radio broadcasting. Several ways, of course. We're on live right now, 91.7 WYXR on the FM side. We are also live on the WYXR app, as well as the TuneIn app. You can pick us up live. We are also on a little thing called Facebook Live, and we will post show to YouTube. And as we are a podcast, when they post the show tomorrow, you can catch us wherever it is you get your podcast. We're good on that? I think we're good on that. So we finally got a break from these oppressive 100-degree plus days that we saw. And I'm a little irritated at Mother Nature because I live in Bartlett. And yesterday, we saw all the clouds. It got dark. The wind started to pick up. And we heard all this thunder and lightning. And I didn't get not one drop of rain. Everybody everywhere around Bartlett, Tennessee got rain. And depending on where you live, you got quite a bit of rain yesterday. Not a drop. Not a drop, but I think because of the cloud covering, cold front finally moving through, temperatures decreased a little bit. I think we were in the upper 80s today. Very nice. Low humidity, not too bad. We'll experience that again tomorrow. And as we get into the latter parts of the week, temperatures are going to be back up in the mid-90s to upper 90s. But let us enjoy it while we have it. Nice breeze out there. So a almost picture-perfect day. As I said at the outset, I think we're going to have a pretty good show for you tonight. What does that mean? Well, we're going to talk about a variety of issues in a few minutes. Many of you are familiar with the issue of Memphis Light, Gas, and Water and TVA, and whether or not MLGW is going to leave TVA and try to buy electricity from another source. This has been going on now for the last couple of years. And there have been a lot of bidders, and there's just been a lot of contentiousness back and forth from local folks asking for transparency and a lot of other things. Well, we are going to speak with Mark Yates in just a few minutes. He is the Regional Vice President for the Western region of the TVA, or Tennessee Valley Authority. And we're going to talk a little bit about all this. A lot of you don't really know a lot about TVA or what TVA, does or what it's all about and what it has to do with MLGW. We're going to give you a bit of an education tonight and let you know kind of what is coming up the next couple of months, which could be critical to the future of who provides electricity for Memphis and Shelby County. A little bit later on, we are going to talk to Jerri Green. She is the policy advisor and assistant county attorney. Recently, the Shelby County Commission passed an ordinance called the Fair Chance to Serve Ordinance. And this is for folks who have had legal issues in the past and are trying to, get their lives back in order and want to participate in the political process. Well, she's going to tell us what the Fair Chance to Serve Ordinance is all about and how you can get involved should you want to do that. And a little bit later on in the broadcast, we're going to raise the lights on the big stage. There is going to be a stage play coming to Memphis in a couple of 3 weeks called Sisterly 2. It's a family affair, and we are going to have the playwright, actor and musician, the man who created all of this. His name is Claxton, and he will join me a little bit later on in the broadcast to let us know kind of what it's all about, and more importantly, why it is you should go and support this play. When you get on the big stage, you've done something right. So the Cannon Center is where this show is going to be. And there's going to be 2 shows only. So we'll talk all about that a little bit later on. But As we always do this time of show, we like to celebrate you, and there's a lot to celebrate tonight because there's like a million birthdays. But we can't do that until I say, hit it, Lola.
Happy birthday!
Yes, 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 yes. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Let's get to it. There's like 1,000 of them today. Happy birthday is going out to Brittany Thornton. Happy birthday, Brittany. Tammy Zanetti is celebrating a birthday today, as is Sabrina Armour. Nicole Baskin is celebrating today. Arthur Howard, happy birthday to you. Kayla Miles. Carolyn Donahue celebrating today. Marcus Payne, happy birthday. Tina Black. Frederick Tappan, happy birthday to you. Keisha Hamilton is celebrating today, as is Scott Johns. Annette Tyus is celebrating her birthday today, as is Tanya Mayo Russell. Belinda Jennings Watkins, happy birthday to you. And Conversation Piece, happy birthday to you. I don't know what your real name is, but that's pretty cool, Conversation Piece. Phyllis Brooks and good friend of mine, well, not a good friend of mine, but a friend of mine, guy I've known a long time, Jonathan Epstein. His birthday is today as well. And on tomorrow, this is a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, somebody I've known for a while, a very enterprising young man who is a musician. He is a writer. He is a producer in the gospel world. Ronald McCain is celebrating his birthday tomorrow. So Big Ron, happy birthday to you. And happy birthday to each and every one celebrating on this day. I hope that you have had a wonderful time. You had a birthday over the weekend. Happy belated birthday if you have one coming up later this week. Happy birthday in advance, and we hope to be here next year to celebrate your next trip around the sun. Thank you, Lola. All right, so in the news and notes department, well, probably the biggest news story in the country was the overturning of Roe v. Wade last Friday by the Supreme Court, which basically takes away a woman's choice and says that states have a right to say that abortion is now illegal. I don't know how many states as of today, or I think about 10 states have automatically declared abortion legal in their states. Probably before it's all said and done, there'll at least be 26 states or half the country where abortion will be illegal. Arkansas did it literally 2 hours after it was overturned by the Supreme Court. Did it on Friday, saying it is basically illegal to have an abortion or to get an abortion in Arkansas. Mississippi will follow suit in the next 10 days. It's called the trigger. And once they initiate the trigger, it's about 10 days or so before you can't do it there either. Tennessee also has a trigger, and it's about 30 days. They came out on Friday and said that they would like to really bypass the 30-day period, but they can't do that. Now you're going to see, and you're starting to see now, lawsuits being filed all across the country from abortion clinics. The one abortion clinic in Mississippi is in Jackson, Mississippi, and they filed a lawsuit late this afternoon, trying to see if they could squash this, at least for the time being. So we'll see how all that plays out. This is a very big deal. 50 years since Roe versus Wade has been in effect. A lot of people, a lot of passion, a lot of energy on both sides, pro-life, pro-choice, and you're going to hear about this, and this is going to have long-lasting ramifications. I'm to understand that people who are vehemently against what happened are telling everybody that we can change this at the polls come November. So depending on who you vote for, depending on which state you're in, depending on whether you're a Democrat or Republican, votes have been known to change things. So we'll have to wait and see. This is a very contentious issue, and it has upset a lot of folks. Also, part of this was an opinion by Justice Clarence Thomas that he wants to take a look at down the road contraception, women's right to contraception, also same-sex relationships, and same-sex marriage. So he's saying, well, since we're taking a look at the abortion issue, why not take a look at these too? So pay very close attention, a lot of you out there, to what may come down the road here, because once these things are starting to be mentioned, and they have been mentioned, that's where you need to put your antenna up and start to say, we need to pay very close attention to this. Whatever side of this you're on, there were a lot of protests over the weekend. Thousands of people all across the country were protesting. So let's just keep an eye on it and watch it. But if we're going to protest, let's protest peacefully. We can do it. We can demonstrate peacefully without being violent, okay? Shifting gears, the Shelby County Health Department is offering COVID-19 shots vaccines to children 6 months to 5 years of age. 2 locations, one at 814 Jefferson Street, which is the main headquarters, and also down at Sycamore View. So, and they are free to get those shots. Question is, how many of you will take advantage of it? There are, different, obviously, when you're talking about the littlest ones, the regimen is a bit different. So call down there to find out exactly, how all that goes, and so you can make an informed decision. In other news, crime was once again front and center in Memphis and Shelby County. 9 shootings over the weekend, resulting in 5 deaths. One of the shootings has gotten a little attention. An 18-year-old girl, a young lady, was leaving her residence, by the way, where they were celebrating her 18th birthday. And when she walked outside, she and her boyfriend were leaving. And once they hit the front porch, vehicle drove by, shots were fired. She was shot in the face. She is recovering and is going to survive. But this is just one of, several nonsensical shootings that have no rhyme or reason in our city and in our county. And speaking of this, the Shelby County Board of Commissioners considering a new resolution today, by the way, declaring violence an epidemic across Shelby County. And as part of the proposed solution, the Shelby County Health Department wants to team up with a community outreach group to work with young people to help keep them out of gangs. The group and the organization is called Heal 901. It is a pilot program. It is a 1-year program that will be funded at a cost of $640,000 to come up with some solutions, to see if we can come up with some solutions as to all this unnecessary violence and folks getting hurt every other day in this town. I worry about a lot of folks. I do. I'm a guy that just, I know if you pray, you're not supposed to, if you pray, you're not supposed to worry. If you worry, you're not praying. Well, I do both because I care about people. And I mean, every time something like this happens, I always wonder about folks, especially in my circle. When we leave here in the evening time, I worry about, Lola and Nicole and I worry about my crew. I just want to make sure that everybody is safe. But it's tough out here, and you have to keep your eyes and your ears open. So we're going to end this on a nice note. I don't know if any of you heard this, but an announcement was made earlier today that Stan the Man Bell, the bell ringer, has been named as the permanent replacement host for the late Bobby OJ. Welcome to the Stan Bell Morning Show. We'll be from 6 to 10 a.m. And now, for those of you who are already freaking out because you think that you're not going to hear him on the PM side, don't worry. He's still going to be on V101. He's still going to be doing his 3 to 7 p.m. gig as well. So you can always, boogie to the Drive at 5 and everything else. But great guy, well thought of, and a very, very good pick for iHeartRadio. Congratulations to Stan the Man Bell. And with that, we're going to take our first break. And as we do, when we come back, we're going to get into the show. And we're going to talk a little bit about MLGW and TVA, and the question is, should they stay or should they go? This is Real Talk Memphis. I am your humble host, Chip Washington. You are, whoever you are, and we will be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest? Or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
The next round of our collaboration beers with Crosstown Brewing Company is ready. Take a walk down the tart end of the street, where soul music meets a fruity and flavorful sour beer with notes of pineapple, peach, and apricot. You can find the beer at grocery stores and other local Crosstown Brewing Company retailers. A portion of the proceeds goes towards helping WYXR and supporting community radio in Memphis. Visit crosstownbeer.com for more information.
Musician, composer, and WYXR DJ Alex Green has worked for over a dozen years with the Rolling Head Orchestra to perform and record soundtracks for film and television. On June 30th at the Grove, the group will perform all new original music to accompany the 1926 romantic drama Flesh and the Devil, set to the sultry textures of Green's music with echoes of Duke Ellington and Franz Waxman. Flesh and the Devil will be brought to life. For more information, visit gpacweb.com. Support for WYXR comes from Tamburino. Tamburino's staff of IT specialists help businesses with strategic technology planning and support. Tamburino, the rhythm of productivity. Details at tamburino.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. I am your humble host, Chip Washington. Very happy to have you with us, and very happy to have my first guest with us. Now, many of us, if you've been paying attention, you know that there has been an issue that has been kind of percolating here for the last 3 years with Memphis Light, Gas, and Water and the Tennessee Valley Authority. Now, who is the Tennessee Valley Authority? Well, they are the ones that sell the electricity to MLGW so they can provide it for you. But there have been a lot of discussions and conversations with a lot of folks and a lot of different groups and a lot of different organizations about maybe MLGW leaving TVA and trying to purchase electricity from another provider. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. I'm really happy to have this conversation because in the next couple of months, there are going to be some big decisions made. Mark Yates is my guest. He is the Regional Vice President of the Western Region for the Tennessee Valley Authority. And Mark, once again, thanks for coming on Real Talk. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, okay, so Mark, when you ask, I guess, a lot of folks, kind of in a general sense, have they heard about TVA? Do they know what TVA is? Do they know what TVA does? And a lot of folks, will admit that they don't really know or really understand what that is all about. So, for the uninformed, would you let people know what TVA does and what its role is and why it is so substantially important here in Memphis and Shelby County?
Okay, I'm going to try and define what TVA is in about 2 minutes. How about that? So,
sounds good.
It's the Tennessee Valley Authority, and it was founded in 1933 by the Tennessee Valley Act. We are a federal agency, and we were part of what you want to think back to in 1933 when you had the alphabets. You had the WPA and the TVA and all these different programs came out. And so we were founded to help bring economic development to what we call the Valley, the Tennessee Valley.
Okay.
And think of that as, over in East Tennessee, you're defined by the Tennessee River. Over here, it's more, we're we're bordered on our western region by the Mississippi River. But we have a mission of three things. That's economic development, that is energy, and the environment. And so, and we've done those things for the past 80 plus 90 years almost.
So that was a very good summary of what the organization does, and its home base is in Chattanooga. Am I correct in that?
Chattanooga, in Knoxville. Knoxville is actually our corporate headquarters.
Knoxville. I don't know what. Okay, I know why I said that. It had nothing to do with you. I'm sorry.
We have a lot of assets in real estate in Chattanooga.
Absolutely that. Okay. So, of course, there's been a lot of conversation the last couple of years, and I know about it, from the inside because I worked for MLGW for about 4 years or so. But it has come up to a point in time now where conversation is with MLGW is, shall we look to leave TVA, try to find another provider of electricity, which may or may not save us some money, depending on the news story you watch any particular night or the person you hear from any particular day. There may or may not be a savings in reference to that in terms of millions of dollars for the city. But there are a lot of connective tissues involved in this, Mark, and talk about a little bit just about kind of get into the particulars of exactly what this is all about. The MLGW is taking bids now and looking to possibly come up with some way to be able to do this. So explain this to us so that we can understand.
Brilliant question, and I compliment you're a power man, so you understand this stuff. So it's a lot, but we'll break it down for you and your listeners as best we can.
Yes, sir.
So we respect the process, we being TVA, that MLGW is currently going through, and it's just like anything else. Every now and then you want to check your prices, check your temperature, make sure that you're doing the right things with your partners, with your suppliers, and that is what MLGW is going through. There has been a lot of, I'll use your words, there's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of I guess, estimates on what potentially MLGW could save if they went out into the market from and left TVA. But on June 9th, they hired, let me go step back, and I'll do this pretty efficiently.
Okay.
Going back about a year ago, they went out with an RFP. That's a request for proposals.
Right.
And they had 3 different RFPs: transmission, generation, and full requirements. Transmission, of course, are the lines, the big 150 foot, 161 volt KW towers. Then you had generation, which are the power plants to supply the electricity. Mm-hmm. And lastly, full requirement, somebody who could come in and do it all. So they got the bids back. They got the bids back. They cracked them open. GDS went through the process. And what they came back and said is, wow, you're not really going to do too much better. No, let me be crystal clear. You're not going to do much better. Mm-hmm. From what they said. And that was GDS.
Right.
There were people and groups that were, they were touting these huge multi-million-dollar figures in terms of what you could save by leaving. And GDS came back and said, no, you're not. And then they also came back and said, if you look at really the risk associated with what you're talking about doing and what you would have to do, they said you would have to spend $1.2 billion
right
on the front end. Mm-hmm. And then you would have
music meets you wherever you are. A great record finds
hold on, Mark.
And the trick it pulls off is that it records you.
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. You would have to spend that $1.2 billion on the front end. Mm-hmm. And then you would have to wait another, 7 to 8 years while you pulled everything together. And that's not a guarantee. And then your savings is not going to be but a fraction, if anything, and you wouldn't be able to recoup that for a number of years. So last thing I'll say about this too is Memphis, MLGW, they provide the second lowest utility costs and that's energy, electricity costs, and that's based upon what they buy from us in the whole country. In the whole country, based upon utilities peer size.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that's it. I think I've kind of been a little clear.
You did. You were very clear, and I think that for a lot of people, they hear savings, they hear cost, and they hear these numbers that are being thrown about, from $200 million at one time, $300 million a year, and then they found out if there is to be a savings, should they leave TVA, it's not going to be that much. And I think a lot of the folks here are concerned about transparency, not necessarily from your end, but from MLGW's end with these RFPs and the proposals and the numbers. Now, I just want to make sure I have this right. In August, there is going to be there's going to be a vote, I would imagine, right, in terms of whether or not to proceed, if you're MLGW moving forward, to leave TVA. And then in September, the board is going to actually vote on that, but the final say has to be done by the city council. Am I correct in that?
The only nuance to that, but you are correct in your timeline. The only nuance that perhaps may be there is that the Board of Commissioners at MLGW will take, they've publicly stated that they will take this issue up in August, right. August 17th. Mm-hmm. And then in September, they'll come back after a 30-day public comment period.
Right.
And at that point in time, they're currently on a 5-year rolling agreement with us, mm-hmm. with TVA. Mm-hmm. And so if they want to stay on that 5-year agreement, that's fine. We don't specifically, I don't understand or know if they have to go back to the city council if they want to stay with us, because the agreement perpetuates. We have offered them a 20-year. We're offering MLGW a 20-year agreement, mm-hmm. Which it's an enhanced partnership. We have throughout our system, and to back up, we serve over 153 local power companies and multiple direct serve customers. Mm-hmm. Those are large industrial. But of the 153, we currently have over 146 local power companies that are on our 20-year long-term agreement. And so that agreement is very beneficial to the communities in which they operate. MLGW, if they go to, we've been giving them a pandemic credit in the amount of close to $23 million over the last 2 to 3 years.
What does that mean, Mark? What does that mean?
A pandemic credit?
Yes.
That means we give them cash, US dollars, back on a portion of what they pay us. Mm-hmm. So MLGW pays us approximately $1 billion a year. So that's about 2.5% of what they pay us. We give that back to them. And that's, in essence, it comes down to a rate reduction. But we've offered that to all of our LPCs. Mm-hmm. But MLGW would also, if they were on a long-term agreement, they would they could be the beneficiaries of the long-term partner credit, which is about 2.5%, equal to about $23 million a year.
So we're wrapping up with Mark Yates, who is the Regional Vice President of the Western Region of the TVA, or Tennessee Valley Authority. And, I think, obviously, Mark, and you've heard it because you're based here, a lot of folks are concerned, about the utility bills. And they think that, if you, the confusion is, or maybe the conversation is, well, if we leave TVA, is this going to help with our utility bills, or is it going to make it, those kind of conversations and those kind of questions are probably going to be raised, ad nauseum in that 30-day window of public comments. But really, what is, they've been with you for, like you said, for many, many, many years. And, you're continually trying to look for ways to improve your service with MLGW, and then that feeds into the community. Am I correct in that?
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. I mean, just, Chip, a number of the things that we do in the community From an economic development standpoint, you remember the blue oval announcement
Yes.
here with Ford Motor? Yeah.
Yes.
So that's we have a tremendous role in that. That's the largest economic development project in the history of the state. More tech, we are involved there. Job Corps, we have a lineman program that we're working on there. Junior achievement, STEM grants. We just had, I think, $400,000 in STEM grants to Power Center Academy. Home uplift, we've done over 500 plus homes, and school uplift, that was I just spoke about. And it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And, we are a significant, we like to think, partner and community participant. So those are some of the things, and not to mention, what we're doing at the port, the restoration of the Memphis port. That's going to be a tremendous economic benefit. But I'm really proud of our team and everything that we do, and how hard people work for this.
Well, listen, I can say that from the inside, at one time or another. This is going to be really the issue of late summer and into the fall. So we will sit back and we will watch and wait and see what happens. But in the meantime, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show and sort of breaking this down, to us, to its lowest common denominator. Really appreciate your time. And as this process moves forward, hopefully we can get you back on the program and talk a little bit more about it.
Listen, thank you for having us. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you, Mark.
Enjoy.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Mark Yates, ladies and gentlemen, from TVA. He's the Regional Vice President of the Western Region. A lot of good information there, and stay tuned because it's going to continue on as this year moves on. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to shift gears, and we're going to talk a little bit about a fair chance to serve. What does that mean? We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll tell you all about it. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. Right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
The Brooks is open in Overton Park. Home to Memphis art collection since 1916, the Memphis Brooks Museum of Art holds the largest collection of world art in the region, with more than 10,000 works spanning 5,000 years of art and cultures. Remember, every Wednesday is free and open until 8 p.m. They are a proud sponsor of WYXR. For more information about the museum and their exhibitions, visit brooksmuseum.org. You belong at the Brooks. Memphis Listening Lab proudly supports WYXR. They provide a curated collection of music and music history, a forum for music-related talks and performances, and a music education, appreciation, and experimentation space located in Crosstown Concourse. The lab is open Tuesday through Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can find out more information on their Instagram page at Memphis Listening Lab or on their website at memphislisteninglab.org. Support for WYXR comes from Tamburino. Tamburino's staff of IT specialists help businesses with strategic technology planning and support. Tamburino, the rhythm of productivity. Details at tamburino.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
Welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening after a very beautiful day. And my next guest joins me. She's not a stranger to the broadcast. She's been on before, but She's coming on tonight to talk about something that I think is an extraordinarily great idea, and it will also sort of give people some encouragement, if you will, who have gone down, maybe the wrong path, but want to get themselves back right again. Very pleased to welcome to the show Jerri Green. She is the policy advisor and assistant county attorney. And she's here to talk about something that I think is really special. Jerri, welcome back to the show.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk about this.
Absolutely so. So, you and I spoke offline, and you sort of reached out to me and let me know about this particular ordinance that the county commission has recently passed. It's called the Fair Chance to Serve. And without any interruption, please tell our listeners what that is, what it's all about, and what it can do for so many people.
Thank you. Well, so I, as part of my portfolio with Mayor Lee Harris, work on getting appointments to all the various boards and commissions that we have in the county.
Okay.
And before this ordinance was put in place, one of the boxes that you had to check was if you had a felony, if you had a record. And just like we did with ban the box for employment, this removes that barrier. This removes that hurdle. So that people who may have wanted to give back, people who may have turned their lives around, people who may have made a mistake. I heard someone say the other day, if you look around a prison, if you could say you could change your life for just 10 minutes, you probably wouldn't be here, right?
Sure. So
people like that, if they have decided that they want to give back because they have insights, they have talents, they have perspective by the things that they've gone through, they are now able to serve on our boards and commissions. And we know that the people who are disproportionately impacted by our criminal justice system are minorities and people who live in poverty. And so this also opens up a way for them to have a voice in our community that they otherwise wouldn't have had in very important places, to be at the table.
So you talked about various boards and commissions and other things. Are there many opportunities to choose from if you so choose to be a part of this program?
We have a listing on the Shelby County government website of all the various boards. We have everything that, from stuff that involves the environment. The thing that hit my heart when I was working on this was I had an application waiting in the bank for somebody who wanted to be on the work release board, to see if, when you're behind bars, who should be eligible for work release.
Sure.
And of course, they had really great perspective as a former felon about that, but it was a barrier that was there. So there's all kinds of things that people could be eligible for. You can go and you can put in an application now, and this will no longer be a barrier.
This is a very big deal in terms of second chance opportunities, and it seems as if the landscape, if you will, of city and county government is really starting to focus in on people who are looking for second chance opportunities that you spoke of a few moments ago, just by taking something off of an employment form. Talk about how important that is. That has to be really a very big emotional boost for so many who actually are trying to turn their lives around.
Well, it's simply put, people who've served their time should be able to serve their community. That's what Martin Luther King told us, right? Everybody can be great because everybody can serve.
That's right.
I had the opportunity, the honor to meet Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr. A few months ago when he came through Memphis. And he talked a lot about redemption and how important that is, that we recognize everybody is somebody. And so this is a really big thing. In fact, we think Shelby County is the first in the nation to enact this sort of legislation, and we're hoping that it is something that spreads to other places, just as Ban the Box did. But I know, as a former public defender, as somebody who spent a lot of time out at the prisons, my very first job assignment here with the mayor was to go get more prisoners vaccinated. So I spent a lot of time out at the Department of Corrections. I know that there are people that are behind the walls that are going to get out. Most people get out, and we want them to reintegrate successfully in our community.
Right.
The number one way we do that is to get them good jobs. That's what Ban the Box did. But this is something more. This is something equally as important because it gives them a voice that says you are valued in our community. And I'm a firm believer, my faith teaches me that nobody is past redemption, or everybody gets a second chance. And so that's exactly what we're trying to do here.
Well, if ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we are speaking with Jerri Green. She is the policy advisor and assistant county attorney, and we're talking about fair chance to serve ordinance. And as I listen to what you're saying, and as I see some of the actions that are being taken, this honestly really can be the difference between someone's path, being it in ascension or descending into something less palatable, and being a part of and being a voice in a participatory process, that really is something that someone can look back and say, depending on what it is, if it's an ordinance or legislation or what have you, to say, I was allowed to participate even though I served time in jail. I had a voice. I was able to participate in this process, and that's a really big deal.
Well, I try very intentionally in my work to make sure that those voices are heard. Like I said, when Reverend Jackson was here, we met out at the Office of Reentry with 3 ex-offenders who are all now 3 small business owners.
Oh, wow.
We've held a symposium on the root causes of youth crime. I had 2 judges, I had a state senator, and I had an ex-offender on that panel. Our Office of Reentry is led by an ex-offender, DeAndre Brown, who I know has been on your program.
Yes.
I serve on a board that helps people while they're behind bars get their degrees, called the Tennessee Higher Education Initiative. On our board sits multiple ex-offenders because their voice is valued. And it's the same sort of thing to understand that if we are going to be a community that really does try to tackle public safety, then we have to not just lock them up and throw away the key, because people are going to return into our communities. And so how do we help them become successful individuals? Mm-hmm. We have to meet them with opportunities and with empathy to say, we are here ready to welcome you back into our community as a full citizen. And that involves participation in your government, right? That involves being on boards and commissions and volunteering your time.
Meet them where they are. Absolutely, just a wonderful way to end this. Jerri Green, thank you for coming back on the show, and thank you for explaining this amazing ordinance to our listeners. People want to get involved in this or find out more about it. How can they do it?
So go to the Shelby County government website, search for boards and commissions. There'll be a list so you can see where your interest lies, and if there's a easy button that says apply now, and you just fill out the online application. You can apply for more than one board. And then as spots open up, I'll be the one that will call you and we'll talk through next steps.
Jerri Green, thank you for coming back to Real Talk Memphis, and you are always a welcome guest. And if there's anything we can do to inform the public of some of the fine works you all are doing in county government, you're always invited.
Thank you. Thanks for helping amplify our work. We appreciate it. Thank
you, Jerri. Appreciate you being on the show. We'll talk soon. Jerri Green, ladies and gentlemen, fair chance to serve. You want to serve? There are opportunities for you. We're going to go to our final break. And when we do, we're going to lift the curtain, so to speak, on the big stage. We're going to talk about a big-time play coming to our city in just a few weeks. This is Real Talk Memphis. I am Chip. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Tone is an arts and culture nonprofit elevating the full spectrum of Black communities in Memphis. By empowering artists and creatives, they are actively shifting the spotlight to showcase the actual people creating our culture. You can go see what they're all about at Tone HQ, their gallery in Orange Mound.
Minfo Music Festival returns to Radiance Amphitheater at Memphis Botanic Garden on September 30th through October 2nd. This year's fest features the excitement of the Black Keys, Widespread Panic, Wilco, Jason Isbell, Portugal the Man, Tank and the Bangers, Bobby Rush, and many more. Visit MinfoFest.com for ticket packages, lineup information, FAQs, and more. That's MinfoFest.com.
Musician, composer, and WYXR DJ Alex Green has worked for over a dozen years with the Rolling Head Orchestra to perform and record soundtracks for film and television. On June 30th at the Grove, the group will perform all new original music to accompany the 1926 romantic drama Flesh and the Devil, set to the sultry textures of Green's music with echoes of Duke Ellington and Franz Waxman. Flesh and the Devil will be brought to life. For more information, visit gpacweb.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to the big broadcast on this Monday evening. Been a great show so far. Now, I'm going to sort of shift gears and talk a little entertainment. There is a big play coming to town in just a few weeks. And I have very happy to have the young man who is the brain trust behind all of this. His name is Dennis Claxton. He is a playwright, an actor, and a musician. And the mind behind Sisterly 2, a family affair. Get it? Family affair. Anyway, Dennis is our guest this evening. And Dennis, thanks for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate you, and welcome to Real Talk.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us today, Chip.
So, you know, you've been doing this play thing for a while, from what I'm to understand, and this is your sort of 10th anniversary. And I was told beforehand that, you know, when you first start doing these plays, you know, you're trying to get some attention, right? You're trying to get a little bit of a following. You're trying to grow a little bit. And you start off on smaller stages, maybe in churches and in other places, and you sort of start to establish yourself, and you start to build a reputation for the productions that you put together. And here it is 10 years later, and you, my friend, are on the Cannon, you're at the Cannon Theater. You're on the Cannon Theater stage for your 10th anniversary. How big a deal is that?
Whoa, that's a huge deal. Actually, I shared today on my Facebook page personally. I was driving to work this morning, and I said, wow, this is the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah. I'm just overwhelmed with joy.
So tell us a little bit about this play. What can we expect? And then we'll get into a little bit later on. We'll get into how people can get tickets and participate and be a part of all of this. So talk to us a little bit about the play and what folks can expect.
Okay. The Sisterly 2 is a sequel of my last production. Sisterly was performed at the Buckman Theater back in 2009, 2019, excuse me, a couple of months before COVID, actually. We went into our pandemic, and it was about 5 women which Jerri played one of them, 5 women who didn't know each other. They ended up at the same place at the same time. They formed a sisterhood. One was going through a divorce. The other one was a single mother with the son, and she battled with losing her son unexpectedly. One of the sisters found love, had never been loved before. Another sister was just dealing with a lot of self-esteem issues. Another woman found out her husband was having an affair. In this production, in this story. And this play now coming up, it's post-pandemic. The sister that found love, she's getting married. So after the pandemic and all of these years, now they're coming back together, with their new attitudes and all of their issues and all of their problems.
Man, okay, all right. So now we're gonna pick up where we left off, so to speak. And I'm sorry, I didn't. What is your castmate's name that's sitting next to you there? What's her name?
This is my friend and cast member, Jerrica. Jerrica, right?
Jerrica, welcome to Real Talk. And from the acting perspective, you got to be kind of excited about all of this. Tell us how you're feeling about this this production coming on.
Well, I'm very excited, especially since we're on a larger platform this time. So, a larger platform requires more of you.
Yeah.
So, you have to dig a little deeper when it comes to this particular platform. But I'm very excited, and I'm so proud of my friend because I've been a part of D-Clax Productions for about 7 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And each time we do it, we go higher and higher. So to see it grow as it has, I'm very excited.
Yeah, this is this is something that I was not aware about, and someone brought it to my attention, and one of your folks, and I was very, very pleased to talk about it because it's always good to support local products, and it's always good to support local productions. And as someone who puts on these plays and who's in this business, talk about how important it is for the community to backing the community to support your efforts. Dennis, I'm sorry, can you hear me? Did you? I think you may have froze. Your shot may have froze. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know, maybe you can try to log back in because it looks like you're frozen on screen there. And I was trying to see if we could, I want to try to finish this up a little bit here. If you're just joining us, and hopefully we'll get them back before it's time to leave you all. But okay, hey, there you are. I see you again. There you go. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. It happens. These feeds sometimes happen. But what I was asking you, Dennis, was how important is it for the community to back productions like this, local product? You're a local entity. You went to all the Memphis schools, and you're here, and you're doing this for your city. How big a deal is it, and particularly for the support that you want to get from the community?
So much is going on right now, and I was just sharing this with a friend of mine earlier. It's so much going on, not only in Memphis but just in the world. Gas prices, killings, laws being changed. There's so much going on. To me personally, I have a heart for people, so I just want to be able to provide a good time. And something just positive, something reflective for this time around. Just for this time. That hour and a half to 2 hour show, you never know whose life that may touch, not only at that moment, but just even afterwards, weeks, after.
Afterwards, yeah. Well, and I had said it before, in a world where we see, and hear about so much negative energy, and it's always negative. We need something that's uplifting and that can make us laugh and that can make us,
right.
To really be enjoying this. Now, what comes next for you? I'm sure you're, as a creative, talented individual, there's always something next. So what's happening next for you?
Well, after 10 years of doing stage plays, I started in the pandemic, with everything being shut down. I started working on a miniseries called The Place to Be, which was the production we performed when we celebrated 5 years.
Okay.
I picked it back up and started on a pilot episode of the web series. So more sooner than later, we'll be picking that back up. I want to focus more into filming later on.
Wow, man. Well, that sounds good. And if by chance you're touched, your creative genius is touched, into having a scene with a very dynamic and highly intelligent radio talk show host, to be a part of any of these. I'm just putting it out there. I know a guy. So if you
okay, cool.
let me just
come on, Chip.
Stop it. Anyway, before we get out of here, please give us the information. How do we find out about it? How do you get tickets? Blah blah. The dates and the times. Floor is yours.
Okay. All righty. Sisterly 2, A Family Affair. You do not want to miss it. It will be next weekend, July 8th and 9th.
Okay.
Doors open at 6 p.m. The show starts at 7. Amazing music, amazing cast, amazing everything. The whole crew is amazing. You can get tickets at Ticketmaster, and just either at Ticketmaster or the Cannon Center website, or you can follow us at www.dclaxproductions.com. Again, that's www.dclaxproductions.com. Click on upcoming events and it'll take you straight to Ticketmaster to get that. For group ratings, or if you have any additional questions, you can contact us at 901-292-0543.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Claxton, and I suggest that you get in on this, now while he's still talking to us, and while you can still afford a ticket because I see Tony Award down the road. And when that happens, I'm just gonna tell you right now, D-Clax, you better take my call. If I call you, you get on that level. You better take my call, man. That's all I can tell you. Listen, congratulations to you, seriously, and we're looking forward to it, and thank you for providing us with some much needed entertainment, and thank you for coming on Real Talk, man. And
thank you for having me.
Best success.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, man, and best success for next weekend. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Take care. Well, that was a nice way to wrap this thing up, and as Lola plays us out, you guys go see this show. Support local talent. This is something that we need to do more of, okay? Because if we don't encourage these folks, what are we here for? So go see the show. It is Sisterly 2, A Family Affair, and it's next weekend. Sounds like a lot of fun. Thank my guests for being on the show tonight. A lot of fun this evening, a lot of good information. Wanda Albertson, thank you for being online, as is Ronald McCain is checking us out. Brian Goff. Bishop Charles Rogers checking us out. Brian Malone, thank you for watching. Diane Towns, my friend, thank you. And my boy, Big Cliff, I see you down there, man. Thanks for checking us out. Good evening to you. Randy P. Leslie, and of course, Jerri, who was a guest on the show. Audrey Hill, great information, she says. Thank you all very much for being here. And listen, continue to support the show, because the more you support it, the more it grows. And the more it grows, the better we are for all of us. So for all of us here at Real Talk Memphis, appreciate you coming tonight. Appreciate you being here. Tell a friend, okay? And be a part of the Fans Show page. I'm Chip, and I'm out. Have a great week. Be safe.